Hey everybody, this is Timothy Bennett here with B&B Banter Bros Goes to the Movies. I am currently sitting next to a special guest, and Aram is taking the night off. He couldn't quite make it, so we decided that we're gonna do a little guest appearance. We've talked about it before, and now we're finally getting somebody. So I would like to welcome Jason.
Hello, everybody.
So, a little information. Jason and I work together, and he's a cool cat. And primarily what we talk about is movies. We talk about music and movies, but for the most part, we have good conversations about movies and me making fun of people, I guess.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I like to talk shit and I love to watch a movie. So yeah, we got along pretty quick. It's not usually my thing.
Right? Yeah. That's what you said. We clicked pretty well. And that's cool. I like to be that guy that gets along with people, because I think I do get along with everybody. But it's different when you actually click with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it didn't take long. I felt like after that whole little COVID break that we had, is when it clicked. It started with Cobra Kai, which we'll get into a little bit later down the road. But as of today, we're going to do a little intro like we did before with me and Aram.
I remember.
And I'm just going to kind of pop off some questions at you if you're cool with that.
Yep.
So
I've heard your first two episodes of this new season. I know how it goes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to know that somebody I know listens to our podcast, likes it too, but listens to it. And
Don't let it go to your head or take it too personally. I love a podcast, and when I'm out of them, not just kidding.
Oh, yeah,
Nah. You're added to the list.
I'm at the bottom of the barrel. I get it. It's okay.
No.
I can live with that. There's people in Europe who might do the same. So
as long as someone's listening.
that's all that matters. So yeah, let's start it off with basically, you like films and you like TV shows. You actually said that you're pretty comparable to Aram. You two haven't met yet, but you want to meet because you find a lot of similarities and interests. You both like stand-up comedians. You like comedy stuff. You both actually listen to the same basic comedians too, like Mark Maron.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I was hoping he was a fan of.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we're both sucker for a cheesy sitcom. You know, laugh track or not.
Right. What was that old one that you guys?
Stranger.
Perfect Strangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When that got added to Hulu a few months back, I got giddy, and then I was ready to be disappointed, but as I rewatched it, I was not. And probably all nostalgic things here and there, but we'll get to why.
I should probably give it a shot then, huh?
I don't know. I don't think.
You don't think not my cup of tea?
No, I don't know. It doesn't seem like your style. I don't know. You might like it here and there, but not the same way. I never met Aram, but I just feel like we like it for the same reasons where it doesn't make much sense to other people.
Yeah. Hey, I understand that feeling, but I get it. I'd probably have to give it a shot to really understand, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what it's about. I have nothing, not a single inkling of what it's about. I've never heard of it before.
A fish out of water comedy, roommates / roommates, like one.
Like kind of like Splash. Just kidding. All right, I don't know. I'll have to give it a shot one of these, especially if it's on Hulu. I'll give it a shot. Well, let's start with that then. So, you like your sitcoms. What is it that you are more attracted to when it comes to a style of sitcoms or television shows that you watch? Like, are you one of those that prefers the, like, recording on a live studio, or like, do you like, I guess, compared to, we were talking this earlier, like The Magicians, Netflix, like The Magician Show, that kind of like movie style-esque TV shows versus studio, live audience, laugh track, whatever, like the, Big Bang Theory or The Cosby Show or Family Ties, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is it that you find yourself more attracted to? Do you have a preference?
I don't think I ever really did a preference in those terms. Because like one of my favorite shows is Cheers,
It's brilliant. It's a great show.
And that's a studio live thing.
Yep.
But I've never thought about like, oh, I like it because it's live, or I like it because I just liked it because those characters, the bantering, the camaraderie, the drama, and the fast-paced one-liner jokes. Norm, Cliff, Clavin, him being the blunt of a joke, and just how it's written. And I'm not a writer or anything, but for some reason I've always attached myself to the writing. Like if somebody gets me with a really quick quip or a one-liner or anything that just really sinks into me, like gives me the chills, I guess, in a cheesy way, I'll just be like, I'm in. So it could be, I've seen plenty of nowadays live action laugh track shows or sitcoms that are just awful. Yeah. And they're just...
Name one. What's one that you think is
I can't because I don't remember their name.
Because you didn't bother retaining
But there's
it.
like the one Adam Pauly. I don't know. But I like that comedian guy. I can't remember his name or how to say it right or what he's from. But he just tried a new sitcom, and it was everything I should like from the past shows I like, because it's a copy and paste from older things and whatever, but I hated it.
But it fell through.
It was terrible.
Yeah. Do you think it was because it was like a forced thing? It was like a studio control, or do you felt like it was just flat? Because if you look at, for example, Jim Jeffries, I love Jim Jeffries' stand-up, and then I watched his show Legit. I enjoyed the show.
Yes. But
it didn't have that same appeal as his comedy stand-up specials did.
So you're thinking the studio made him do certain...
What I think is that he had... Because they do this. This is what studios do. Is they find somebody who's a big hit, and they were like, how can we make money off him?
Right.
And let's give him his own...
Some of those episodes are written from his stand-up jokes.
Yup.
But I completely agree with you. I watched it. I enjoyed it. I got through it because I like him, but it wasn't like anyone that sitcom I'll rewatch ever.
Yeah, and that was kind of something else that really helps with those episodes or those TV shows is what you retain to versus like what you would want to see again is a little different, because there are those shows or movies that you're like one and done. It's like, I've seen it, I'm good. I basically retained everything I ever need to know about it, and I can move on with my life. And maybe 10 years down the road, if it's on TV or whatever, I might rewatch it because I'm like, what's this about again?
That was a thought like 10, 20 years ago, but going forward with all this content, I don't think that's a thought the future is going to have.
But there's also so much content being thrown at you that's so accessible too, that you don't have a sense of neglect on anything anymore, because everything's right there at your disposal. You don't have to worry about. Yeah, it's so saturated. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but our attention span is not as... It's not like it used to be either. We're basically goldfish.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah, I guess I've never known enough about behind the scenes, because I love movies and sitcoms, but I've never been the guy to read the credits and remember the names and care about... I always talk about actors as their characters actors. Like, or you know what I mean? Their names.
Yeah, you've admitted that to me.
Yeah.
I don't know these characters.
Listening to you and Aram, like, oh my goodness. Like, I don't know. I don't
know those actors' names. I know the character.
Yeah. And, I know what movies they're from and this and that until a few years ago. Then I'm like, all right.
But that comes down to, honestly, it comes down to not having much. It's an interest thing. It's like, it has to do with us wanting to know more about something, and we dive into it. It's no different than anything else. Is we do the research because we want to know. It's fueling our knowledge, and it just kind of comes into, not everybody like wants to dive into everything about everything. Some people are okay with just going, hey, I like that, I entertain with that, and that's fine.
And I'm one of those, or at least when I started falling in love with movies and TV and stuff at a young age.
Unfortunately, now if you hop on our podcast, I might expect a little more out of.
No problem. Like I said, I've tried to do that a few years ago, so I can step it up. I can take notes.
Well, that was one of the things that I wanted you to join our podcast. I mean, I told you like right away. It's like, hey, dude, you should come on board. Like, I think it'd be great because movies. It's basically the whole film thing, and you have a very open mind about watching. You don't want to like stick to just one genre, one type. And that's something that I mean, you connect with. Is I watch basically everything under the sun. And Aram, he might be a little more particular, but it's nice to have, like, we want another third person to kind of banter at and have another input than just our two dumbasses' opinion.
Right.
That don't really make a difference.
Yeah, I would love to be here to when you guys forget the name Doug Kenny, futile, stupid jester.
Yeah,
I would be like, I know the answer to this. It is Mike Myers' cousin. You know, there's just small moments in the episodes where you're like, I can't remember. And I'm like, God damn it. I do.
I totally admit. Going back to, was it John Carpenter too? We were talking about Halloween, and we couldn't remember, like,
sister or niece. And then I was like, oh, come on.
And and Jason apparently was yelling at the radio, I know this answer. So for sure.
So I got my small moments. I can chime in and grow from there. You know, whatever.
Well, moving on from that. When you see yourself as wanting to develop or create your own film, because everybody, I think, fantasizes about being in their own movie or their own sitcom or something like that, what do you find yourself leaning more towards as of, like, a drama or a comedy or both, or rom-com or romance or horror or whatever? I mean, if it's horror, then you got some issues. If it's psychological, you might have some more issues. But
thanks for the warning. I won't answer horror now.
But the point is like, if you were to put yourself in your own character in your own film, how would you see yourself? How would you perceive yourself? What kind of genre? What kind of character? What would you want to put yourself as a character? Completely made up. It doesn't have to be like real life situations. Just what would you want to be in?
But this might be weird. As much entertainment and screens as I've looked at since the age of 4 or 5 or whatever, I've never really thought of it that way. But once again, the last few years I have, and it's comedy for sure, with a little bit of drama, I guess, because you need it, because I don't want it to be a slapstick comedy or Bill Murray, I don't know what's happening, but I'm doing everything right comedy, you know?
Or the Chevy Chase syndrome.
Yes, there you go,
Let's just keep using the exact same joke over and over and over.
I would like some more, some layers and wit to it, but be really, meaningful and funny. And not necessarily that's my life, but, you know, that's, you know, I don't know how to answer the question, but I love comedy and drama hybrid.
Well, let's be real. I don't think me or you or anybody that we know has a life worth telling. So we may have our points. You know, there's actually a point.
We have our moments for sure.
Yeah, we definitely have our moments where we're just like, oh yeah, that's.
But there's no complete story arc that needs to be told.
You know, there's a point in my life where I thought I should write a book because I've gone through a lot.
Right.
From basically from birth up to, I don't know, until 10 years ago maybe. I've been through a lot, and I thought I had something to say, but the more I realized, I'm like, I don't know if that's worth saying anything. I feel like there's people who have gone through worse.
Yeah, I definitely relate to that. And that's probably why I like movies and TVs, because life is so low, money's so low or whatever. Back in the day, that was the family thing. Like, rent out of the cheap section this weekend, and we can all, you know, pick movies and watch them together. It's that was the family time. Yep. And then primetime TV, like, oh, we're excited to sit down together and watch Home Improvement, Full House, all that stuff. You know, run down the line. We'd bond over those moments. But, you know, those were the better times in a rougher family growing up thing.
Well, and I mentioned that in my interview episode that Quantum Leap was one of those films that I remember fondly of watching with my mom when you know, we were living in a van on a farm in Iowa, and it was one of those things where, like, I just remember us snuggling up on the couch with the blanket that my mom still owns, and I don't know why I remember it. So obviously it must be, like, psychologically, it must be something that I found pleasant. Yeah,
I have the same memory about Quantum Leap, and I think I was happy to see my stepdad be so in love with the show. For some reason, I was happy to see him happy. Could just be making this up. Never took psychology or whatever. How but yeah, does that make sense? At a young age, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, if you're happy to see somebody happy.
Yeah.
Was he kind of a miserable guy or what?
Oh, of course, but I didn't know that. I was too young. That's how stupid I was. I was thinking like, yay, I'm watching the show I don't understand.
Ignorance.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's some dude I'm going to hate in the future. But,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just try to throw some thought behind it. It makes no sense, probably.
I think our discussion on stepdads could go into a different episode.
Ooh, we found our new podcast.
Yep. But, yeah, films... basically the same as you, like, it's one of those things where you fantasize about being these characters in some point or some way, and I think that overall it's because of your own life. Usually I think it has to do with what does your life pertain to and how you want to escape, because it's all about escapism. It's the only reason why we watch films is to escape. I can't say that. That's not the only reason. True cinephiles or cinephilias or whatever you want to say it, and people who really, really love film, love TV and all that stuff. Those are the people that do it because they want to escape. I'm 100% that person. I love watching movies.
I'm definitely
because I want to escape.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of life, fan of people. So as soon as I get time, and I just want to drown into a story that's outside of this world and whatever.
Yep. Yeah. Moving on from that, so you find yourself watching, Netflix or TV or Hulu or Prime or whatever it is, your HBO Max, which you're a fan of right now.
I've always been a fan of HBO. They changed the game in the early days, or in the early 2000s.
I mean, yeah, they were.
The whole swearing on TV, it's not TV, but it is, or it is, but it's not. Their brand.
You had your like movie channels, which was like it was Cinemax,
Showtime,
Stars,
HBO. There's probably one other.
I feel like that's it.
But HBO had the poetry, the comedy. They had all the swearing, and way before like Sopranos and stuff. HBO with the whole like. The fuck if I'm gonna be able to like hum the theme song they had, but I don't know. Everything was it was awesome, and I never had it growing up, but the friends that I did and my dad did when I go visit him, it was just so important. HBO, so it was probably that too. When it comes to my attachment to HBO Max, sorry.
And HBO Max, tangent. I would say HBO Max sounds a lot dirtier than it really is. It's basically like Disney Plus. It's basically what it is. It's just you got films that more mature audience kind of thing. But it's this whole app thing. It's this whole generation of like how they're presenting their stuff. They're
in the middle of a streaming war, I believe, right?
Basically, everything, everything. So cable is gone. It's going extinct. And I had said this about 5 years ago. I had said as soon as Netflix came out and Hulu came out, because Amazon Prime hadn't even been a thing at this point.
Yep.
But Netflix was still. They just introduced streaming. Basically, as soon as that happened and as soon as Hulu did, because I didn't know what the fuck Hulu was.
I didn't take it seriously at all.
I remember working at, Joe Sensors, way before I moved up here. I remember working at Joe Sensors and talking to a girl like through text. I was probably trying to hook her up, or I don't know. But I was talking to her and I was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm laying in bed." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, what are you laying in bed for?" Like, what are you doing? Kind of thing. And she's like, "I'm watching Hulu." I'm like, "What the fuck is Hulu?" It's like, "Oh, it's like a streaming device." I'm like, "What the fuck is streaming?"
Right.
I had no idea, and
they didn't even call it back then, or call it that.
Yeah, I don't think they did.
But anyways,
fuck if I know. I didn't get Netflix until like. I don't know, 7 years ago. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, it's basically when I realized I was like, oh, I don't have to buy movies anymore. I can just basically buy a program and get all of this shit.
Yeah.
And but I basically said that cable's non-existent because you have Hulu that deals with television shows that come out as they're coming out, like in real time.
Yeah, latest the day after or something like that.
And it was brilliant. It's the most brilliant thing you can have.
Yeah.
Because it allows everybody to access this, and then they're still making a bunch of money. And then Netflix basically had all movies. So the reason why I had Hulu and I had Netflix was basically Netflix was for the films.
Yep.
And then Hulu was for those shows.
Wow, I forgot. That's exactly how my Hulu started and my Netflix.
And then I realized Amazon Prime started to do their streaming thing, and eventually got on board with that much, much, much later, like only 4 years ago.
Yeah, same.
Because a guy I was working with was like, oh, yeah, it's like, I would start watching this. I rented a movie on Amazon Prime. I'm like, I have Amazon. What is that? And he explained to me, like, Amazon Prime. You can get Amazon Prime with your Amazon
you get all
account
the benefits,
or whatever like that. With your membership, you get, like, Amazon Prime. You get all these movies that you can rent and shit like that. And I'm like, oh, I'm totally on board with that.
Right.
So...
then
it was revolutionary.
Yeah, and then and then Netflix, I believe, was the first to start making Netflix originals or whatever. And then Hulu started doing that. Amazon's doing it, so it's like a whole new game now. Since
now Apple and
Discovery Plus, Disney, this and that.
Else, yeah,
I mean,
it's crazy, but we eat that shit up too.
Yeah. And I'm happy for it because I always hated cable.
Yeah.
I hated channel surfing.
Yes.
I hated the long-winded commercials that were longer than the segments of the sitcom I was watching.
Unfortunately, though, that is becoming a thing where now they give you the option. If you upgrade and spend $30 on Hulu or $30 on YouTube or whatever, you can get ads free.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay $30 a month for ad free. I'd rather sit down for 10 minutes and watch these commercials and pay an extra.
No, you're right. It's all going to bounce out to how it was soon. And they've been slowly making increments into that change because Hulu used to never have commercials, and now they're up to like 30 to a minute long commercials.
Oh my, no,
I can barely even watch TV on that thing anymore unless it's on HBO or something.
I know. I like YouTube now. Like YouTube never had. YouTube has put out 2 hours worth of like a television show.
Yep.
Like an entire television show in between their whatever the fuck I was watching. I'm like, at this point, I'm gonna forget what I was watching, and why? Why do you need to have this whole other episode of something? Like, I remember almost every time. So I'm sad to say this. I'm slowly teaching my son to hit the skip button on the remote every time a commercial interrupts. That he's able to interrupt his Baby Shark.
Oh, yeah.
So he'll watch Baby Shark or he'll watch Cocomelon or whatever those things is on television. And I'll be like doing the dishes or whatever like that. And he usually comes up and goes, Daddy, and hands me the remote. And I automatically know that means it's a commercial and he doesn't want to watch it.
Look at that. Yeah.
And instead, I've just kind of taught him, hit the OK button during this and it'll skip. And that's what he does.
Yeah.
He'll go up and he's not even 2 yet. And he'll just come up and go, okay. And then he'll go and continue his thing. So I feel like we got a little off topic. I don't remember what we talked about. How did we get there? But the point is, whatever I told you or asked you before, what did I ask you?
We just started talking about the streaming.
God, the streaming.
The change from cable to streaming, maybe. I don't know.
Revolutionary. The attention span, unfortunately, that's the only bad thing. We get instant gratification because the technology is getting better and our patience are lacking. I had a hard time with patience to begin with, and the older I get, the more patience I get, and I don't want to lose that.
Right.
I want to develop that patience the older I get because I'm able to get a lot more things done, and I feel a little bit more accomplished with the things that I never had when I was younger. Now, like D&D and stuff like that. It takes patience to come up with that shit.
Oh, yeah. I believe it. And, yeah, the older I get, the more patient I get. And are you trying to say that these streaming services are going to take it away from you?
I think that they're allowing a little more accessibility.
Yeah. I mean, it's so a lot of convenience to keep me on my couch right there.
Yep. And
so
I
much
think that's and we're
under
already
my thumb.
Fat country, so. Although I don't think neither of me or you are anywhere fat. So
No, we're rocking pretty good dad bods. Is that still a thing?
I don't know.
I'm a cave dweller. I shouldn't say things like that.
It's true.
I don't know what's...
I don't know. Jason Momoa, somebody who's like beefy and buffy and all that stuff, and he was considered, he got body shamed for having a dad bod, and I was like, well, if that's the case, what the fuck am I, a squishy?
Yeah.
Because
I'm glad I don't know that information. I would have been depressed.
Right? I'm like, shit. It's a good thing I'm not a celebrity.
All right, what's next?
I don't know. We went on a tangent now.
Yeah.
I kind of lost focus. What are you watching right now that you are just like obsessed with?
Right now?
Yeah.
Obsessed with?
Other than WandaVision, because it's over with now.
Okay, yeah, that would be the last thing. But yeah, right. Monk.
Monk is fantastic.
Monk is the last thing I've been obsessed with. I go through these phases where I'm in the mood for a certain type of genre or
like a feel, like a
mood.
Yeah.
Basically, I'll be in the mood for a rom-com, and I'll watch a rom-coms for like weeks or something, romantic, this and that.
Yep.
And I'll be in the mood for How I Met Your Mother, which is probably similar to rom-coms. And then, when it comes to sitcoms.
Yeah.
So I go through these moods, and I haven't been in any particular mood right now, so I'm in limbo, just kind of like watching a little bit of this and that. Stuck on The Magicians as of today, but I just think it's interesting.
Basically, this is the new modern channel surfing.
Yeah.
Yep. I understand that. I almost don't know if it's worse than channel surfing. Excuse me, or if it's a little bit better. Because I feel like you don't want to waste your time. You kind of want to be entertained. You kind of want to get into something or whatever. And that's basically all you do when you sit there and channel surf is you're wasting your time until you find something that sparks your interest. Mm-hmm. But at this point, when you're doing it through the streaming devices, you kind of got to take an extra step into actually watching it before you go, well, this ain't for me. And
right.
Like you may put down an episode or two before you go, this ain't for me.
It's true, yeah.
And it's like, is it better or worse?
Yeah, I'm gonna lean with better. I don't know. Yeah, that's a weird question. But if it matches my intuition or whatever I'm really vibing for in those moments, or even like The Boys that's the reason why I bought Amazon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I love comic book stuff. I've heard good things from everybody I trust, their opinions and whatnot. So I was like, all right, fine.
Especially mine.
But like those shows, a good show, it in like a half hour. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna like this.
30 seconds.
Yeah. And same with Ozark. You're gonna know it within a few minutes.
Actually, let me rephrase it. They say if you want to listen to a song, within the 30 seconds of listening to a song, you'll know if you like it or not.
Oh, absolutely.
Movies, I think it's about a minute and a half. Mm-hmm. Within the first minute and a half of something, you'll realize if you like it or not. Mm-hmm. It's crazy the psychological fucking things the workings that going on. I mean, it's all a fucking play. It's all a game.
Yeah, and it's all about how well they write their attention grabbers and deliver it, this and that. So
those hooks. So I read a long time ago. Maybe I've mentioned this in my podcast before, but I read a long time ago that if you want to write something, like a book or a film or something of that nature, to keep your audience's attention, within the first 15 minutes or within the first 5 chapters, something needs to happen.
Yeah,
something drastic or something
conflict. Yeah,
some kind of something needs to happen that changes the flow. Otherwise, the audience will be bored and they won't finish it.
Well, yeah, we're so desensitized. Probably a boring topic, but it's true, right? Like the video games, the level of violence and this and that. Like it takes a lot for.
It's a synapses, yeah.
For my jaw to drop and be like, wow, did I really just see that? Like, it takes some nasty shit.
Yeah, it's like that shock and value. That's
But at the same time, shock and value, if they deliver it wrong, you're like, nice try, you dumb. That's
yeah.
I don't want
to get conspiratorial or anything.
Right.
So we'll deal with that and something else.
All right. I'm a terrible interviewee.
No. Fine. You're doing fine.
This is fun.
Of course, I think you're nursing that beer a little bit.
It's true. He's not wrong, people.
I think I put 3 beers in this thing, and I'm down to half a beer.
Yeah, I okay. This is the first time we drank together, so I'm learning. I'm learning.
All right. One more question before we end tonight's session. So, what film now, or TV show? I guess I won't. It's going to be a hard question anyway. I'm going to make you think a little bit. Do you connect with the most? Yeah. If you want to make it a little easier, I can make it a little easier and go, what is it that you find yourself more, attracted to? I know it's more of a mood, but there are also those things that you kind of determine, like you favor comedies over romantic comedies versus something like that. But what is it that you I guess, yeah. What is it that you relate to? Like,
see, I don't know if I relate to things, but like my things I make sure to rewatch every year is like Deadwood, The Wire. And that's because of the writing skills and shit like that. Okay. Batman and Superman. People are probably gonna hate that I love both, but whatever. And I don't know if I relate to stuff. I just get into moods. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many things. My first memory of being in love with the movie was Christopher Reeve's Superman. Dressed up in the pajamas with the cape and everything, flying around like your son upstairs on couches like that. Bouncing around, just watching that movie 3-4 times a day. And, for a whole summer or whatever. But, yeah, there's not a, I can't give you one answer.
Yeah.
Maybe I should try to give you a movie. Dark Knight was my favorite movie for like 10 years after it came out.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Because, yeah, they killed the love story, and I've never seen that done before. You know, how the Joker switches addresses and whatever. And then, yeah. So I like originality. I like good writing.
Fuck yeah.
And it's a dying thing.
Yeah,
the originality.
It is. No, me and you've talked about this at work for hours, how, like, everything's, I mean, even me and Aram have talked about this. Like, this is the biggest problem that it seems like anybody who loves film, I don't even know if it's anybody who loves film. I just think that it's people who actually give a shit about film, that make it a part of their life. Originality is almost non-existent. It's really hard to find originality in mainstream productive or production films or TV shows. TV shows have more originality than movies, I feel like, at this point. But even then, a lot of it's still recycled. And in films, they just want to like take from other work, or they want to reboot because, it made money back then, or it wasn't
Cash
that
grab,
good, so we think we can make more money. I'm like, just because, first of all,
That's
because
the studio talking like you were saying earlier.
Exactly. Just because you think you can do it better doesn't mean it will be better.
I wonder if they even care to try to do it better. And if it doesn't go further than the duffel bag of cash they're going to grab from it.
That's exactly what it is. It's just a fucking, it's a money laundering thing. And it's upsetting. Like, these writers, I don't understand how I read, because I would love to write a script, and I've been trying to write a script and all this stuff for a while, but my problem is that I've heard that those who make a profession off of writing scripts have to do a lot of rewrites.
Yep.
Notes. And I'm like, there's a certain point where I go, okay, maybe they're right, and I should do a rewrite. And then there's like, why? why do I need to rewrite this? Is it because they just want something that's going to appeal to the audience to make money? Or is this taking away from the actual essence of the story? And I'm all about the essence of the story. Mm-hmm. Tell the story properly.
That's why I love Kevin Smith, and it's surprising how far he's made it, because he has gotten in known arguments with studios, been fired from jobs. He has all these stories because he hates notes. Yeah. He wrote it the way he sat down. He did his own rewrites before he tried to sell it or whatever, all this. And then you're going to come in and chime in, you know, when he's already in his head told the story he wanted to tell. So I think that's similar to what you're saying, right? In your head?
Yeah. And to be honest, that's why independent films, independent artists in general are happier and more successful. Not even just they may not be making scale. Yeah, on a lower scale. They may not be making hundreds of millions of dollars, but what they're doing is they're making millions of dollars on something that they're leaving, they're turning their back and leaving and going, I'm proud of that bitch.
Exactly. They're feeling more centered, their chi is more balanced, or what they're centered and happy with themselves and what they did.
Yeah.
And they don't need the glamour.
And that's the beauty.
Is how it feels. I don't know. I never met any of them.
But that's the beauty. I go on YouTube every once in a while. I'll fucking binge watch just independent short films left and right. I just watched 3 of them the other night.
Really?
And they were brilliant. They were well done. I mean, yeah, low production, but you don't need... I always
enjoyed the low production.
Too. Well, I've always heard, and I have a hard time because I have a vision in my head, and I'm like, I want to fucking succeed and make this the way I envision it. But it doesn't matter on how much money you have in your pocket or how much money you spend. It's always about the story.
Yes.
If you have a good story, it doesn't matter on the production.
If that shit's compelling, I don't give a fuck about CGI or all that other shit.
I am just so insecure about my own writing and story and this and that I feel like I need something to kind of masquerade. I have great ideas. I'm an idea man.
Yeah.
I've always admitted I'm an idea man. I have great ideas. I have ideas out the fucking wazoo. But I'm not the kind of guy. I'm not very good at making shit happen. There are a few things I can manage within my realm of possibility, but like a podcast or
like you said before
whatever.
At work and whatever. And I completely agree with, as being a musician and trying to be in bands and make all this shit happen. Easy as fuck to sit down with an idea and brainstorm this and that, but to sit down and make it actually come to fruition.
Fruition, yep.
Yeah, it's fucking. Yeah, it's difficult mainly because I'm lazy. That doesn't help. But it's still difficult in general, and it takes a lot of work.
It does,
especially for movies to get made. Like that movie. God, yeah. Dolomite with Eddie Murphy on Netflix. Yep. That's my favorite part of that movie, besides the fact there's funny moments and Eddie Murphy's cool as fuck. But it shows you how the budget struggled, like how the shit they endured to actually complete that movie.
Yeah. And
apparently it's pretty close to true story. And I don't know, just hearing the struggles of how to make a movie, it just seems like bend over backwards, exhausting mentally and physically. And so, yeah.
Well, it's kind of the same thing that the Disaster Artist was about with The Room. It was the same process. It was this guy he was a foreign figure who had money, but he loved American cinema and he wanted to make his own movie. And it's terrible.
Yep.
It's absolutely terrible. But yet, what happened? It became iconic.
Yeah.
It out of fucking whatever, it became iconic.
Never saw The Room, but I saw the James Franco one. The James Franco one, and that was a fun story.
It was, but
just
it was
how he thought he was serious, and he had an artistic vision. Maybe, I don't know. The guy's weird as fuck.
He was weird as fuck.
But it turned out to be a comedy. And he was like, fine.
Nobody knew what he did either. Yep. Nobody knows how he got his fucking money.
You're right.
Tommy something. Tommy.
His friend.
No, that's his name. It was like Tom something. I don't even fucking remember his name.
No, he's James Franco to me.
Right? But it's the same thing that you're saying, though. Yeah, it's amazing on how production value. Like, I went to school for film studies and film production, like as a minor.
Mm-hmm.
And something I've been learning is it's tough. Not only do you need to have people, you can't do it on your own.
Yeah, that crew's got to be somebody
you
can
need
trust.
A crew, and you need to have basically a full-fledged plan on how to, like, what your film or short story or whatever, anything from a minute to 30 minutes to 2 hours to 4 hours has to be laid out, and you basically have to execute it as your planning goes. Otherwise, it's not going to work out, and you're going to find hiccups and things like that. But it takes a village to create a film. Literally, it takes a. There are several films out there, blockbuster hits and stuff, that will put at the end of the credits that this film or this production created 15,000 jobs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's crazy. 15,000. I've been into towns smaller than that. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy.
It's true.
But it's a real thing. So I don't know. Do you let's kind of wrap it up. But what is it that? Do you have anything you want to pitch? Do you have any questions for me?
Questions for you? I think I don't know.
It's not about me, but I'm just saying. Do you have anything you want to ask me about anything?
Wow, you're just so broad with your questions. And I don't know how to answer that shit. All right, so do you have a screenplay or anything close to being finished that could be thrown into production, since we were talking about that?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Actually, the closest thing
I know you got some short stories.
Yeah, I got short stories. I wanted to turn one of my short stories, Hit Me With a Double, into a short film because it's an emotional kind of short story, and I think it would translate pretty well into a short film if it's done right.
Right. You need to find the right people to
Yep, exactly.
act the characters.
Exactly. I just need the right people.
So you do. You got Hit Me With a Double.
Yeah, but I've been also, but one of the, I actually wrote a short script too, or for a friend of mine, but I don't think she will ever do anything with it.
Right.
And I think it's called What God's Left Behind. I actually would have to look in my desk drawer. And it's a post-apocalyptic kind of short film. But I wrote the script for her, and I wrote it in a way that would make it accessible to easily be done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With like very low money, like very, very low budget, like nothing that you have to worry about. You just need some land and a car and a tent, and that's about it.
I've heard that the fucking short stories, that's why they're usually in car or road trips, because they're the cheapest to shoot.
Almost everybody has a car. So.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, yeah, Hit Me With a Double, you would even have to take the time to rewrite that into a screenplay format, right?
Yeah, I would. And I started to at one point. But the problem with Hit Me With the Double is I need a bar. That's all I need. I need a bar because it takes place in a bar. And I would need access to a bar, and then that's it. That's basically it.
See, this sounds simple, but it's a lot to ask. Or build. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot to ask. I mean, because I wrote this story, way back when I was in Chipotle. So it was probably like 7 years ago I wrote this story. And then I started trying to turn it into a script when I was at DB Searles. And that was about 5 years ago. 5 years ago now. And I kind of envisioned writing it as a script into the way that the DB Searles bar was.
Oh, okay.
You know, just because that's all I had to work with. But that doesn't mean anything. It's just, you need a bar.
Yeah.
Yep. Other than that, the one script, and from the get-go I had in my head envisioned and wanted to write a script, this whole very expensive, not elaborate, but very expensive script was The Last Atlantean, the saga of Atlantis.
Oh, wow.
And that was something I've been working on for a good 10 years now. And I only have like the first 15 minutes of the film written down.
I'm sure that took you hours.
Oh, it took me years. But that's about it. So, yeah, before we go, though, I wanted to plug Jason's band. He is in a band, fellas. We talked about, that he was, into music and stuff like that. But him and another coworker that we have are in a band. They're pretty damn freaking good too. I listened to them and I was very impressed and very shocked how much I really enjoyed it.
Oh wow, thanks.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed the shit out of it. Like,
nice.
I've listened to it probably because the one that you had on Spotify at least is whatever Jim gave me. And
the Split album.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you explain a little bit about that because I don't even understand. It was with some other artists.
American Junk, I believe, is the other band. Yeah, so Zach, our lead singer, has a million friends and other musicians that he knows, and it's just easier to get a split album done with two bands. When it comes to punk rock music, that's what we do. The songs seem to be a little shorter, so
yeah.
And then yeah, it was just something fun to do, and we probably did it for some benefit promotion.
It's okay. You can say charity. No,
Charity, yeah.
charity work.
Yeah, some GoFundMe shit, and then
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was at the time, but yeah,
It's good.
Yeah,
It's fucking good.
we had a lot of fun, and we're still trying to get to collaborate with each other. Yeah, American Junk, and do a live show or streaming. But this whole COVID thing is
Right.
they're not even practicing right now,
And you have
American Junk isn't.
You have a live streaming coming up too, right?
Yeah, on Sunday.
On Sunday.
That's
What
it.
time? Give us the information, Jason.
Like, I'm not technical. I can't even say the word techno.
Technical. Technical.
I ain't fancy on this Facebook thing, but it's on Facebook, and it's on Sunday, 7:30.
7:30.
6:30. I've seen 2 times. Oh, it's 6:30 to 7:30.
Ah, gotcha.
All right.
So
Sunday at 6:30 to
about an hour.
7:30. Yeah,
and is this your music, like your band? So what's your band name, first of all?
Don't Look at Me.
And why is it called that? I thought it was great.
Because the lead singer, we were jamming. He likes to look at people a little too much, and I said, don't do that. And then we're trying to think of names, and then should we just say that? Fuck it, you know.
Right.
Names don't mean shit as long
Especially
as the
in a
music's
punk band, a punk rock band.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so appropriate. Don't look at me. Seriously, like as soon as you told me the story, I'm like, that is the most appropriate name for a punk rock band. The Sex Pistols don't even have as much to say about their name as you guys, and they're apparently the epitome of punk.
Right? Yeah.
Whatever the fucking.
How dare you?
But I thought that was great. Don't look at me. Yeah, that's the name of the band.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any other bands in this. I think it's probably just us playing for an hour for Amber Bambino and that I met working at the Brickyard, and then like me and her bonded really quick.
Yeah.
And then she came down with some cancer shit, so we're trying to help pay for some medical bills, and a lot of our shows are like kids for the homeless. Like we always raising money for something.
Charity.
Yeah, charity. And Zach's the guy. Our lead singer is the guy to find those things, and they're always good causes.
Right.
And I'm happy to do it.
Hear that? You hear that? There are some true people out there who actually care more about themselves.
Yeah, the guy makes me feel like a piece of shit because I never would do that on my own.
Right.
Or maybe. But no, probably not. And then, but I'm happy to be a part of it. Like I thank him all the time, and I really want to change the name to Zach and the Tagalongs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he just sets everything up. And
It's actually that's a dope name too. I like that. Zach and the Tagalongs. Like you hear about like Zach and the band or whatever, but or I don't know what that's good. I like that. Zach and the Tagalongs. It has a nice tongue-in-cheek name to it.
So yeah, it's our little band inside joke, but he doesn't
awesome.
like it. But
He didn't like it?
he just cares so much. He's a humble guy too, so he's like
I don't want to be the name of the band.
Yeah, I was like, just kidding, dude. But
I don't know, man.
then,
I'll petition that.
Then on YouTube, you can find us under Concrete Head Entertainment, which is our record label name, I guess. And then you can also find our hip hop stuff under that name as well.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. We've been doing that for like 20 years, so we got a lot of old hip hop out there on Spotify, all the platforms. The hip hop group is the ones known as. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put a couple of links on our description page so people can check that out for sure. But yeah, it's cool. Like once again, somebody who loves music, and I came in and I just found out that these guys had a band when I started working with them. It's him and Jim, and yeah, I enjoyed the shit out of it. It was really good.
That's awesome.
I will admit, I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
I've heard people go, I have a band. And then I'm like, oh, it's like a garage band. It's probably really shitty or raw sounding or whatever. Doesn't mean that they're terrible. It's just,
No, everything you just said makes me feel like that's my band.
Yeah.
Raw. It's very raw.
Right? But man, I listen to these guys. I'm like, hey, that was great. It made me jealous because I'm like, I can't write shit like that. But then again, I haven't had the opportunity. So.
Right.
Anyway, I'll
you.
put the description on there, and I thoroughly suggest checking them out. And they do have another show coming out on May 29th. So.
Is that the Red Wing one?
It
is that where we have to do some in person?
Yep.
You talked to Jim before me? You know about a show before me?
Because he asked.
Cool, that's usual for me.
Because he asked if I could cover the shifts. He asked if I can work for you guys. And I'm like,
it must be a weekend thing
Saturday.
Then.
Yep. So he asked me, and I was like, I'll cover the shifts. No worries. That's dope.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Well, this is Timothy Bennett with B&B Banter Bros and special guest
Jason Chantler.
And you'll hear from him again. I promise you.
This was fun. Thanks.
So, all right. Catch you later. Peace.